So somewhat things have been somewhat eventful in general. Like had a bunch of different learnings and explorations within an interesting language in itself, which is somewhat one of the more complex ones. But I think if you're into distributed systems, it's one of the more interesting ones. Somewhat kind of like Java, but a little bit different in one sense or another. But like internally, like I just feel like a bit off in terms of just like, I feel like the world is somewhat turning to, I don't know, man, it's becoming a bit more racially aggravated the more I grow into this sort of reality, in a sense, this ideology around sort of like grown up world. Now, I don't know if that's because of the way that I've been perceived to look through the various different texts and philosophies that I've explored during like the pandemic and things of that nature, or if this is actually something else at play. Ideally, I believe that the world that we inhabit, um, as beings of higher consciousness, what actually, i.e., the internet and stuff like that, like what actually distinguishes you is your skill set and your contributions, in relation to what you do and the things that you express, how you express it, whether it be philosophically or technically. I don't believe in things like racial prejudice or something of that nature. Because again, I think that some people do lack awareness, and maybe they are that without actually being knowing it, without actually knowing it. But for me, I don't care, right? Because I don't really get myself involved like that. You know, I don't, I don't really get myself involved to that degree where things become that much of a problem. So yes, I hope that's not what that is in general. Within this particular contextual reality, So I think that's definitely one thing that I've been feeling in one sense or another. But I think that there's always that requirement to endeavor, and that we are actually valued based on our contributions and our skill set, and our philosophical thoughts and understanding about the universe at play. Because I definitely understand that when people lack an awareness, regardless of what technology or things that they may be utilizing, it can inhibit their own being and things of that nature. I'm not going to go into it. Its philosophy is geared towards around the nature of time and things of that nature. But I'm not gonna focus on that right now. I think, for me, it's just trying to find a comfortable beingness, right? Try to find a comfortable beingness for my own self, and that can be difficult because I definitely enjoy a dynamic set of different, dynamic set of things, but I don't really have that freedom to be, because even work wise, like it seems like a racially charged place, to a certain degree. Maybe not, but at the same time, I feel that you know, like like being like dragged to a corner, being prepared for slaughter. It's kind of like how work can feel sometimes. So that's also if in itself, because just having the inability to not do anything, you feel drained, not having the ability to actually contribute and actually just do work right as work is intended, rather than being in a position where people intend to have a manipulation over you, or a certain level of control, to feed whatever egos that they may have in place. So even there, I'm not really getting the satisfaction that I'm looking for. So that's a bit problematic in itself, and I don't feel like I'm really using my brain in a sense. But but we're sort of working to resolve that, I believe, overall. Um, and then there's also just being the nature of just being alone in a sense. Um, just relating to just like the way that I work, the things that I do. It's all pretty much pretty crazy. in one sense or another. But I think that that's besides the point. I believe that that I myself I found solace in offensive security. Just not only that though, but just that whole environmental context around like the learning process, which is mine. I own that. No one else owns that. That's mine, and I feel very limited because psychologically I feel manipulated in relation to what it is that I'm trying to do. Like like I'm limited in what I can know, but really I'm not. I have a dynamic level of freedom, and so I find that level of solace within offensive security. And to be frankly honest, like I have definitely like a lack of funding that prevents me from doing the things that I would like to do accordingly. If like work was more fun, then I think that the funding thing wouldn't really be a problem. But I feel that not having the ability to be flexible at work limits me and makes the funding like an issue, because there's definitely things that I would prefer to do else with my time. Like I'd definitely like to be doing a bit more Erlang, getting a bit more into the depths of OTP. But not only that, like right now I've started considering um pursuing my OSCE 3. Though I'm not gonna rush it, I'm gonna take my time with it, because obviously that's mine and my thing as a marking point for my own self. But there's definitely like a bunch of different steps that I need to take before I even get there, or even probably consider that, because it's a whole bunch of things, right? Uh, I still gotta go back into the PWK labs. Um, I still got to properly grasp assembly to a degree, so shell coding and things of that nature is something that I need to get into, um, or at least get a more improved aspect on, or just regenerate that thought process or that understanding in my mind. Um, I was gonna do the like the web with Elixir, and then the exploitation section with Rust, and then maybe the other one with just like a mix of the two. But I'm probably just gonna do the whole thing in Rust if I can. Um, cause yeah, so that's definitely one thing. Yeah, so that's definitely one thing that I have in mind and I'd like to pursue. But obviously, in my own time, there's definitely a bunch of different learnings. It might take me a year or two, a couple years, a year or two to actually achieve that. But it's something that I'm definitely thinking about and looking towards now. Because I think that it would be something that I'll enjoy doing. And I just feel like it's not for any company or for me to get a job, but it's for the love of myself. If that makes sense. For the love of myself being, because I feel that you know that organization itself, like I can be in love with it simply based on the fact of the challenges that it presents to me. And that's closely dear to my heart and mind. And I think that it's just not only security oriented. There's a lot of things that come along with that. Like even just with the OSCP, um, my mind grew not only just in the security perspective, but in the outer realms as well, through the materials and things that I was reading and exploring, and also through the Cracking the Perimeter course, the OSCE. My mind grew even and gave me access to new spaces of information that were not strictly available to me before, right? So one of the things may be cybernetics, and the higher level environments relating to security, such as just like the culture in itself. So that I'm grateful for, in essence, and just there was just so much going on, right? Just throughout the process. So it's actually not just about the courses themselves, but it's like this higher level of mind, this higher level of being that I feel a part of, regardless of even having access to like the communities and chatting to. Like, I don't really care about that, right? What I care about is being with the instructors, right? And having that mental connection with them. Like, I really really love that. To me, that was something very special in a sense. Though it was fucking difficult, like some of the tasks and stuff, but I think for me that was definitely one thing that was very valid. And just also being access to the community, because you access the security community based on the things that you look for online. So yes, I think that's definitely something that I want to get back into, and definitely looking to pursuing that. But I need to somehow associate the fundings. I need to sort out accommodation correctly, because even though this place, everything's just weird right now. Um, everything's just kind of bizarre. But again, at the same time, I think that it's something that I definitely want to pursue and be a part of again. And definitely look at that OCE part. But again, like, I need to get into better reverse engineering if I want to really do this correctly, and if I actually want to have proper contributions, right? Because there's things that I want to do, but it's gonna take a lot, right? So even just it's not just the course itself. There's a lot of stuff that comes along with that externally. External knowledge and wisdom that comes coupled with that process. Um, so yeah, so I'm gonna be thinking about that at least now, and I think that just do the whole thing and probably Rust would be ideal rather than switch it to Elixir, because I think with the whole Elixir and Erlang thing, it's not really, or Gleam, it's not really like a programming fad thing. Like, I think it's cool, but I think most of my interest and insights are within OTP itself. Um, and yeah, I know one or two web frameworks in Erlang as well, which are useful. So yeah, so I think that's probably it for me personally. Um, I might delve in Elixir in the future, but I personally right now I don't feel like I'm going towards that direction. Reasons why I can't really delve into that too much at the moment. But I feel that if I have a good enough grasp, because I'm coming from that background anyway, if I have a good enough grasp of Erlang, I can have a good enough grasp of sort of Elixir, and I wanna read some source code repositories, some applications written in Erlang, just to get a better understanding around it. It's not much faster than Elixir. There's not much difference. Definitely less libraries, um, but it's somewhat more enjoyable and close to that OTP nature. So definitely looking forward to that. And there's some decent improvements coming in OTP 26, such as tab completion and things of that nature. But then Elixir also has some interesting things going on, especially around debugging, man. Shit. If you've seen some of the shit I see, man, the shit's crazy, and I definitely think that that's definitely valuable for debugging. But I think at the moment, that's where my focus is an aspect of sort of airline. But then again, at the same time, I'm trying to get job and work done correctly. If things don't work out, I'm probably just gonna go look for a startup or something. But regardless, right, this is what I'm gonna be doing externally. Um, Regardless of the situation, this is what I'm gonna be doing externally. Ideally at a point in time, but I ain't gonna rush it, because, like I said, there's a lot of steps that I have to go through before I even get to that stage, right? So reverse engineering is unavoidable in this situation, and I think that would I ever become a pen tester? I don't know. It's never worked for me. Like, I've always wanted to. I definitely, when I left uni, I know that was one of my aspirations. But I sort of got more and more entwined into the distributed systems of things, not because of any particular reason, um, but that's because it was just more fun, right? For me personally. doing developer operations and things of that nature, and just working to build infrastructure. Um, and to really, I think on the later side, I learned to release code, which is also fun in a sense. Manage infrastructure and that type of thing. But I think that they just like maintaining systems, distributed systems, as was just also cool, and just being the main um, point of contact for any infrastructure changes and things of that nature was really cool. And just really, really just having that ability to to manage and improve things was really awesome. But again, like jobs and stuff like that is difficult. Nobody really ever wanted to hire me or give me those opportunities. So that's why sometimes I feel relegated or not really catered to as an individual. And I don't know if it's racial or what, but personally, my things like I don't really care. I don't really care. I think I'm still coming into fruition. Social wise, there's no really social life, but I think that probably like just using social media apps might be impacting my consciousness negatively, maybe because I don't really know. Um, I don't really have any circles, and I can't really communicate with those people. But I think that having the ability to communicate online and things of that nature might be really cool. Like if I follow the right people, then it's better because even like people that are like moving to Mastodon, the alternative Twitter platform is somewhat okay. But that ain't gonna make a difference to Elon, man, because the data's already in Twitter, so you don't really care, man. You're just looking at y'all like, cool, man. Yo, do you? But again, I think that if groups were a thing, it might make it much more cooler. Because yeah, Twitter is a bit messy. Um, Instagram's okay, but it just makes me like, yeah, like I don't really just people with random opinions, which they believe that are valid based on their social circles. But from my perspective of things, I just always try to think higher than that. Um, Relationship wise, it is what it is. I'm not really thinking or looking at that at the moment. Um, Hoping to be here for maybe a couple more months, ideally. If I can be here for a couple more months, I can sort some stuff out, finish one or two books, and get to meditating, get to stretching. I bought a stretching course. One of these guys that's always talking about stretching on Instagram. Managed to cop a course. Yeah, I definitely need to like improve. Cause if I do yoga every day, right, my stretching improves. Like if I do vinyasa yoga, which is more focused towards the, yeah, more focused towards the stretching. Um, I get better. But if I have somebody that's there specifically for teaching me that type of stuff, it'd be good. Because then it just helps me get there quicker because it's sort of a directed workflow. Gym wise, I found a CrossFit thing which might be interesting. Work wise, bro, they said they're gonna give us not Nuffield health, but yeah, that benefit, and then they stopped that benefit. I think I'm just trying to find out if they still have that, so that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, there's some CrossFit thing at the gym I might join. I don't know. I just need to look at how much it is. I might do that because I think that definitely just building muscle is fine, but also I think that having a refined shape and when working muscles that are that aren't particularly targeted by specific devices is also good. Um, and yeah, and I think that's pretty much that really. It's just trying to win back my own mind, right? Which is also key because it's complicated. Like this environment is complicated. Everything is fucking complicated. Like we're mentally attacked. Like I think psychological warfare is very something very distant, not really understood, but we're mentally attacked and we don't understand majorly because wars were fought with guns before, but now it's more so within the mind. And I think that they've definitely tried to resolve that through the various different texts that have given, like Bibles and stuff like that, that they've given to mankind. But again, I think that mentally, there's definitely a war going on, and people are getting killed mentally without our knowledge, like dismantled differently, and that's fine for now, but we can fix that over time. And yeah, man, and that's my thing at the moment, man. Just looking to get back into offensive security if I can, and do some learnings. I want to get into Pentester Academy as well. I'll probably go through Pentester Academy before I get into OSCE 3. Uh, Simply because I think that it'll probably be really cool just to improve that Windows understanding. Even though offensive security do a good job at giving you the necessities to be able to build upon your Windows attacks. I think that the Pentester Academy track um, definitely enhances that differently. And I need to look about PCs and stuff or whatever, which is complicated stuff, but I'm not really gonna delve into that at the moment. But I think that'll probably be an alternative thing for focus. But yeah, man, I personally place my heart in that, man. I place my faith and being in those things that are presented to me there, and it's valuable and it means a lot to me. And I think that they basically believe in me as well, which is something that I didn't really have. And I think that that's definitely important, not being accepted just for who I am, but being accepted for who I can be, what I can do, and just being given the opportunity to be more, right? And also having that mental stimulation is something that's valuable to me. So that's why I believe in that, and that's why I place my trust and faith and hope within it. Um, Overall, but I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna go through different things ahead of time before returning back to that, and hopefully when I go through these things, it's gonna be so much more simpler and so much more easier. But I don't think that's gonna probably happen this year. Just I need to sort out this funding, like just like a place to get money where I'm also happy enough. Um, Work-wise, I just need to make sure that we have a clear agreement as to what's expected of me. If am I going to be allowed to fully utilize my mind? Because I don't really, I think that's what's key here. It's like yeah, I think that's what's definitely key. Is having the ability to correctly utilize my mind effectively and take the things that I do learn and improve upon those adequately. And that's it, man. That's pretty much it. I have interest in Red Hat as well, but that's quite distant at the moment. Like you know, it's quite distant from me at the moment. But I definitely have interest in that because I think they're the only decent Linux provider available at the moment. But I ain't gonna talk about that now because that's very separate from my career. Um, but I think above all, offensive security is what I place my trust and my being. in. I hope everything goes well, and yeah, I hope everything goes well, and that you know my trust is not misplaced.